Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to learn how to make this beautiful mesh bralette. I know some of you guys are in love with quick projects, so since the previous project was a bit hectic, I thought I could throw in something a bit easier as we wait for another big project which is coming right up. So today I am using this yarn. It's called Flores. It's 50 grams. Each ball is 50 grams. It's a 6-ply yarn, and yeah, this is what I'm going to use today, and it's the same exact color that I am using, white. And I am also using a 3.5mm crochet hook, pair of scissors, some stitch markers. These are optional, but if you have them, just keep them around because you never know when you'll need them. And then you also need a measuring tape. And that's basically it. I needed only one ball to make the whole project. So if you're maybe, let me say, a large, extra large, you will just need 2 balls. So this ball is about 150 yards. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to do a center pull just so that my ball of yarn doesn't move around the whole time. And I'm going to start off with a slip knot. You're going to roll over your yarn like this, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over, pull through, and then pull on the tail. That's how I do my slip knot. And then you're going to make a chain that runs from the center of your chest all the way to the center of your breast. So for me, I'm going to consider 16 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I am making for a size small, and I have done a total of 16 chains. For all the other sizes, just look on the screen and follow the instructions as needed for you to get your desired size. So I have 16 chains, or whatever number of chains that you've done for your starting chain, and you're going to go into the 4th chain from the hook. So you're going to count from this one, 1, 2, 3, and into the 4th you're going to place a double crochet. You're going to double crochet all the way across your starting chain until you get to your second last chain. All right, so I've just placed a double crochet in the second last chain, and I have only 1 chain left. I am going to go into that last chain with a total of 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 more double crochets into the same exact chain. This will bring us to the opposite side of our starting chain. As you can see here, it's like we've moved all the way around like this. Now we are going to work on the back side of our foundation chain. You're going to go into each and every chain along the starting chain, but also make sure you weave in this tail as you go. So I'm going to hold the tail along the starting chain, and I go into each and every chain with a double crochet, only 1 double crochet into each and every chain, but also wrapping around the tail that we left behind at the beginning of the row. So you can see I'm working around that tail so that I weave it in as I go. Continue to double crochet once in each and every chain. All right, so we are on the second last chain here, and you're going to make sure that you go into the last stitch, which should appear like a chain 3. Make sure you go into it with a double crochet, and that marks the end of row 1. This is what your work will look like. For row 2, you're going to make a chain of 3, which counts as a double crochet. Turn your work, and you're going to go into the next stitch with a double crochet. The chain of 3 is attached to the very first stitch, so you don't go into the first stitch because it has already gotten the chain of 3 that counts as a double crochet. Continue to double crochet in each and every stitch across until you place a double crochet in the double crochet before the chain 2 space at the top of the bra cup. All right, I am currently placing a double crochet into the stitch before the chain 2 space, and then into the chain 2 space. This time around I am going to place 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets into the same exact stitch, into the same exact chain space, sorry. So 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into the chain 2 space, and then you're going to go ahead and place 1 double crochet in each of the remaining stitches until the end of the row. All right, so you should notice that you're working in a U shape. I've come to the end, and make sure you place a double crochet on top of the chain 3 at the end of the previous row. So this is what we have. You'll notice that you're working in a U shape, something like this. You keep going back and forth. That's how our rows look like. We're going to just repeat row 2 again and again until we have enough coverage for our bra cup. I'll be recommending a number of rows. So you chain 3, turn your work, double crochet into the next stitch, and continue to double crochet once in each and every stitch until you get to the chain 2 space, which will get 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets into the space, and then you continue to place 1 double crochet in each of the remaining stitches until the end of the row. I will be recommending a number of rows to make for the different sizes, but make sure that you keep trying on your piece as you go so that you can decide for yourself how much coverage you want for yourself. There are people who would like maybe their cleavage out, and then there are those people who want a modest kind of fitting. So as you work, don't take my word for gospel truth. Keep trying on your top and make sure you get the coverage you want for yourself. And yeah, I'm just going to repeat row 2 until I get my desired coverage, and I'll be back to let you know, to show you what mine will look like after some more rows. Alright guys, so I ended up with a total of 8 rows, and this should fit a small. And for all the other sizes, just check on the screen. I'll be recommending a number of rows for the different sizes. Now, once you get your desired number of rows, you're going to try it on so that you can make sure that this can cover one of your breasts entirely, from the middle all the way to the side, because this time around we are placing our bra cups like this. and not like this, the usual way. We are placing them like this. So once you're done with this, we are now going to create a mesh pattern towards the side of our bra cup. All right, now you're going to take your full bust circumference. I'll be considering a total of 32 inches. And then you're going to subtract 4 inches from your full bust circumference, regardless of what measurement that you end up with. So 32 minus 4, that is a total of 28. And then you're going to divide that number by 2. So 28 divided by 2 is 14. Now that 14, you're going to take a measurement across your bra cup when you place it like this, and try to stretch it out just like this. And I have about 8 inches. I'm not going to overstretch. So remember the 14 that we got, you're going to subtract this measurement from the 14 inches. So 14 minus 8, that is a total of 6. So the mesh pattern that we are going to work towards the side should be a total of 6 inches extra. So to create the mesh pattern, you're going to make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and then double crochet into the space between the next 2 rows, as you can see here. Chain 1, skip the next row and go in the space between the next 2 rows. So you're going to continue to chain 1 and double crochet in between the next 2 rows. And you're going to do this until you reach the exact middle of the bra cup. All right, so I'm continuing to chain 1 and double crocheting in between the next 2 rows. And this is the exact middle line of the bra cup. I'm going to go ahead and do this one more time so that I get past the middle section of the bra cup, just like this. And then I'm going to make a chain of 4 and turn my work, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, double crochet into the next double crochet, chain 1, and you're going to repeat this all the way down. This is row 2 of mesh. So when you come to the end, you're going to skip over 1 chain here of the chain 4, and into the next chain, you're going to place a double crochet. So we're basically going to repeat row 2 of the mesh pattern until we have a total of 6 inches. Remember our final measurement, our final figure that we got after doing all the calculations. I ended up with 6 inches, which was a difference between the 14 inches and the 8 inches that I got across the bra cup. So I'm going to continue working until I get my 6 inches. So repeat row 2 of mesh until you have a total of 6 inches, or whatever measurement that you ended up with after making your calculations. You just make a chain of 4 and turn your work and double crochet in each of the double crochets from the previous row, making sure that you make a chain of 1 in between each double crochet. Alright guys, once you get this measurement right, remember I had a total of 6 inches when slightly stretched. Consider your measurement when slightly stretched. So I've done a total of 12 rows of mesh, And I'm going to make a chain of 1 and cut my yarn. That marks the end of my very first panel, and this is what it looks like. Now I'm going to repeat the same exact process that I have done for this piece so that I have 2 identical pieces. So my second one is here. You can see we have the same exact thing going on. So after your last row of mesh for your second piece, this time round we are not going to cut our yarn. Leave it connected to the ball of yarn. Just remove your hook like this, and then you're going to place it in a way that it is facing so that the mesh pattern is on the edges. This is what you'll have. And make sure the pointed part of the bra cups meets the 2 pointed parts. Now I'm going to get a small strand of yarn and attach the pointed parts into the chain 2 space. I'm going to just use a strand of yarn and I'm going to attach the 2 bra cups together, just like this. You can use a double knot, and then later on we shall use a darning needle to weave in the excess yarn. And now we are going to go ahead and skip a few stitches along the sides of the bra cups and then create a flat chain that is almost running along the flat edge of the bra cups. So what I'm going to do is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm going to be recommending a number of stitches to skip. Now 12 stitches for size extra small, and since I am making for a size small, I'm going to skip 12 stitches, but for all the other sizes, just check on the screen. I'll be recommending a number of stitches to skip along the side. So after the chain 2 space, you're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And into the 13th stitch, you're going to place a stitch marker. You're going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And into the 13th, I'm going to place a stitch marker. So just to give an illusion of what it will be like, I will make a chain that runs here, and it's almost on the flat edge at the base of our piece. So you're going to get a separate strand of yarn. Remember, this one is still connected to the ball of yarn. Don't break it. So you're going to get a short strand of yarn and make a slip knot, or attach it in any way you wish to attach it, and you're going to go into that stitch with a stitch marker, just like this. And for me, I'm going to make a chain of 20, but for all the other sizes, just check on the screen. I'll be recommending a number of chains to make across. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I have my 20 chains, and I am going to go into the stitch with the stitch marker on the opposite bra cup and insert my hook, pull through all. That is a slip stitch. So just try to lay your work flat. Make sure it's not so strained in the middle section. So once you're comfortable with that, you're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, pull through, and this is what we have. You can remove the stitch markers at this point. This is what your work will look like. Now we're going to go back to the corner that's still attached to the yarn ball, which is this one, and we're going to work a mesh pattern all the way across our work. So to do that, you're going to turn your work so that we are now facing the bottom part of our piece, and we're going to make a chain of 4, which counts as a double crochet chain 1, and then go in between the 2 rows. At this spot, you're going to place a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in between the next 2 rows, chain 1, double crochet in between the next 2 rows. All right, so we're going to repeat this all the way across the mesh pattern. All right, so we've made it across the mesh pattern, and this is what you should have. We are now going to go with a chain 1, skip over the last row of mesh and double crochet into the next stitch, which is the very first stitch after the mesh row. Chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet into the next, and you're going to repeat that all the way across until you get to the chain that we just placed in the middle of the 2 buttercups. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next stitch. All right, so this is what we have. Once you get to this point, I've ended with a double crochet in the stitch before where we attached the chain. So what I'm going to do is make a chain of 1, skip over that stitch where we attached the chain and go into the very first chain of the middle chain of the 2 buttercups, and then continue to chain 1, skip 1 chain and double crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip 1 chain, double crochet into the next chain. So we are going all the way across, creating a mesh pattern. So we've come to the end of the chain in the middle of the 2 buttercups. You're going to continue to make a chain of 1 and double crochet into the next stitch. So this is a big one, so if you feel like this is quite big, you're going to go into that stitch where the chain attached, as you can see here. So from here you're going to just mirror the same exact thing that was going on this side and do the same exact thing on the opposite side. So chain 1, skip 1 stitch and double crochet into the next, all the way across until you get to the mesh pattern where you go ahead and do the needful just as you've done on the first half of the piece. All right, so we've come to the end of the mesh row, the very first mesh row that is worked across both bra cups, and this is what you should have. Now we are going on to row 2. For row 2, it's going to be quite easy because we've laid a foundation for the mesh pattern. So you're going to just make a chain of 4, turn your work. The chain of 4 counts as a double crochet chain 1, and then double crochet into the next double crochet. This time around we are not going to go into the chain 1 spaces. Just make a chain of 1 and double crochet into the next double crochet to maintain the mesh pattern. So you're going to do this all the way across until the end of the row, and then I'll be back to show you what to do next. All right, so we're coming to the end of row 2, and when you come to the end here, you're going to make a chain of 1 and skip over 1 chain of the chain 4, and then go into the next chain with a double crochet, and that marks the end of row 2. We're going to keep working this until we get to our waistline, the upper waistline, and I'll be letting you know how many rows that I ended up doing, but most probably I'll do a total of around 14 or 15 rows. So let me just keep working row 2 of the mesh pattern again and again until I get to the upper waistline level, and then I'll show you what to do next. We shall turn this piece into a beautiful dress. Alright, so for my top, I did a total of 7 rows of mesh, but you can do as many rows depending on the length of the top that you want. And then for the final row, which is at the base of the top, you're going to make sure that your work is on the right side, whichever side you consider the right side of your work. And we are going to create a scalloped edge at the base of the top. So you're going to go into the very first box and attach your yarn, and then you're going to go into the same space with 1 single crochet, and then make a chain of 3 and 3 more double crochets into the same space. Skip the next chain 1 space, and then into the next you're going to place a single crochet, chain 3, 3 more double crochets into the same space with a single crochet, skip the next chain 1 space and single crochet into the next. So this is going to create scallops on the edge of our top. You're going to repeat that all the way across. Chain 3, 3 more double crochets into the same space, skip the next space and single crochet into the next. Continue to do that all the way across the base of your top, and I'll meet you back to show you how to make the straps. So we are coming to the end of the row, and I'm creating my very last scallop in the second last box, and I'll just skip over the next box and single crochet into the last stitch. Make a chain of 1, and you're going to cut your yarn. At this point you can go ahead and get rid of all the loose ends before we go onto the straps. So this is the right side, and make sure you weave in your ends on the wrong side of your piece, or the back side of your piece. Alright guys, after getting rid of all the loose ends, this is what you have. You'll have a very clean look. Now I've already worked one strap, and I'm going to show you how to do this. You're going to attach your yarn at the top of your bralette, and this is the process that you'll consider and follow for your second one. So you're going to attach your yarn, make sure you're on the right side of your work, and attach your yarn in the corner, the top corner of the bra cup, and then single crochet into the same space and chain 3, then double crochet into the same space, and then chain 3 and double crochet in this space in between the 2 stitches, chain 3, double crochet in the space between the 2 stitches from the row below. So keep doing this and you'll notice that your strap is growing. You're going to do as many segments of the strap as you wish to have. For me, for my first strap, I did a total of 50 segments, and I'll do the same exact thing for this side, and then I'll meet you back to show you how to lace up your top. Right, after my 50 segments, this is how long my strap is. You can make it longer or shorter depending on what you wish to have. You're going to make a chain of 1 and cut your yarn, and then cut off the excess strand. And then you're going to go ahead and weave in all your tails. And then you're going to turn your, at this point the straps are ready. You're going to turn your work to the back side. So you can see the back side is also as neat as the front side. You're going to fold over these side extensions like this, and you're going to lace up the straps into the back mesh design of the top. So just like that, you create an X at the back, and then you're going to continue to lace up after skipping a few spaces in between. So you can decide to skip 5 spaces and then lace up into the next box. Just like that. You're going to continue to do this. And when you're done, you're going to just tie a knot at the back of the top, and that will be basically it. Let's see the final look of our project.